What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me on the run. Got a few things to do around the city, but I told y'all that I would make it an effort to not be too busy to connect with y'all. So here we are, connecting on the run. Shout out to you guys, my subs. I appreciate you guys very much for being along for the ride to 5,000. Now let's get into the topic, man. We got Deion Sanders. I saw him with his boys at the Colorado Senior Day. I think it was their last game. And for Senior Day, the athletes, they walk out with a parent. His two sons who play for the team, of course, they're gonna walk out with their dad because he is absolutely responsible for them being where they are today. And that's what that's about, to pay homage to the parents who made whatever sacrifices that they needed to make to get their children there. So it was kind of a funny thing, man. He took off like lightning when he seen his ex-wife, who happens to be the mother of his boys. I think it wasn't Shadur, it was the other one, Shiloh. I think he was saying that his parents, it's like World War III trying to get them together or something to that effect. And I really didn't know about all the smoke between them, but when I seen the way he reacted, I decided to look into it a little bit, just kind of, brush up on what exactly was going on here, because I don't really follow celebrity lives like that. I think it's kind of weird the way people be all obsessed with celebrity lives. They be wanting to know who they're marrying or who they banging or when they're gonna have a baby and how old their kids are. It's just kind of weird to me to be that level of involved in people's lives that are total strangers and have no idea you even exist. So I'm too busy living my life to be that level of involved. But in this particular case, because my curiosity was a little piqued, I decided to do a little light detective work and see what the hell was going on with them. So they go walking down the field, Deion and his two boys, and his ex-wife is mid-field. He doesn't react to this, so this is why I was really shocked when he just took off like that. But he doesn't react to it. He's calm, cool, and collected, as Prime always is, right? They get to walking. When they get midfield, he busts a hard left and just gets the heck up out of there. So I figure, seeing that, whatever happened between them with their divorce, it must have been something bad. There's somebody in front of me. I don't want to honk my horn, but you got people just not driving. I'm gonna go around them, man. Oh, now they want to go. Now that I was about to go around them, people, they be too busy playing around with their phone to pay attention to traffic. Now I know I got my phone out right now. I'm not playing around with it. My phone, what I'm doing with my phone right now doesn't require me to do any sort of upkeep with it. I can turn it on and just let it go. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I go looking into what happened, and it was ugly. It was too much for me to even convey to y'all now. Just the stuff that I was really seeing that stuck out to me was crazy. So they went through a divorce. Seemed like it was roughly about a decade ago. And I mean, she accused him of being abusive, which, that's a tactic out of the divorce playbook, is to accuse the man of being abusive. That typically gives the woman an advantage when it comes to this sort of thing. In many cases, that allows her to keep the house and he's got to go move somewhere. So when you hear stuff like this involved in the divorce, take it with a grain of salt, because I've learned that more often than not, that did not take place. It is just a tactic. She didn't have any witnesses saying that they've ever seen him displaying any hostile or abusive behavior towards her. I mean, nothing of the sort was substantiated. Like, really, like they were just allegations. None of it was substantiated, and that's why that really didn't take off anywhere. That didn't end up working in her favor in terms of the court, because it was her word versus his, and she just had no way to prove that he did any of the stuff that he said. She had no proof, no pictures of any bruises or anything, no records of going to the hospital, no police reports called on him for doing anything to her. It just was like, you know, okay, man, we hear you. You say he abused you. We hear you. Got you. He abused you. But then I saw she ended up doing some jail time because she was just being a total dumbass. She was pulling moves like calling CPS on this man for no reason. I think she alleged that he kidnapped the kids and stuff. It was just all types of nonsense. Now, he ended up being awarded sole custody of the kids, and she had to, at the time, I don't know how long this lasted for, but at the time, she was denied any sort of visitation until further notice. Now, those of you who kind of pay attention to this sort of stuff, you know that as a mom, you gotta be really fucking up to lose custody of your kids. That just does not usually happen. The woman always either gets sole custody or is some sort of joint custody, but the woman still kind of has the advantage. So if you found yourself in a situation where you have no visitation, understand you were fucking up on an unprecedented level, and that's why you found yourself in this situation. Like I said, it was a mess. He was able to recover some sort of money, or I don't know if he actually got the money, but he got a judgment for thousands of dollars to recoup for his lawyer fees. You know, the whole thing is just totally a mess. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, because she made the allegations about him, you know, hitting her, and because he made the allegations, or because she made the allegations about him hitting her, and she, you know, being the woman, she's automatically going to be assumed to be the victim. So he was working as a sports broadcaster, I believe, for ESPN at the time. And, you know, ESPN, you know, they owned by Disney, and they oftentimes make rush judgments, taking the woman's side just by allegations, nothing actually proved, just by allegations. Look at what happened to Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp didn't do anything wrong. His wife, who also was nuts, accused him of doing a bunch of horrible things that he did not do, and he got canned pretty much for like 6 years. He wasn't in anything. And now, because he was so successful at fighting back in that defamation lawsuit, because the man, while drunk, still had the presence of mind to keep receipts, he was able to clear his name. And the money that she owes him now, millions of dollars, she's, you know what, I'm not even gonna get no fuel here, man. They too busy. She's likely never gonna pay it back, because she ain't balling like that. She wasn't getting no work. She became nuclear, you know, dealing with her, because she was facing that and things were starting to look unfavorable for her. Like, she lied to everybody. You know, Hollywood, they have a bias where they take women's side, and even when the woman is seemingly lying, they still be trying to explain it away and give her the benefit of the doubt. But that wasn't happening here, because she was proven to be a liar to such a flagrant degree. But he was able to prove that all of the stuff she was saying was not only a lie, but that she was somehow unstable and a danger to herself and the children, because he was able to get custody of them and her have no visitation. So with all of this stuff, including him losing his job at ESPN, I get it, man. Dude wanted nothing to do with her. Even though this happened like a decade ago, he's not going to forgive any of that stuff because you tried to smear this man's reputation and sabotage him professionally. And, you know, I feel that. You can't just let stuff go. Like, you're supposed to forgive and forget, but certain things, I'm sorry, you just can't. Because the thing is, she was all on social media dragging him, which I've noticed is a reoccurring thing. When there's a split, the woman goes on social media and goes above and beyond to try to assassinate a man's character. Meanwhile, the man says nothing. The man is just quiet. He just goes about his business. And that's what Deion did. He wasn't out there publicly bashing her. All of the fighting that he did was through our legal system. And he ended up winning and looking like the bigger person as a result. I applaud him because let me tell y'all, man, it's hard to be the bigger person sometimes. When people are willing to go so low, they're just trying to ruin you, essentially bury you to where you can't even earn a living. It's really hard to be the bigger person and look the other way and not jump in the mud and sling it with them. But he managed to do that. So kudos to him, man. But I just thought that was crazy. I didn't know that whole thing, that quick clip was going to lead to going down a rabbit hole like that. But it was an interesting one. You'd be surprised if you just talk to a man. How many dudes out here have had some crazy ex-girlfriend or some crazy ex-wife that did all types of out-of-pocket stuff and they just never talked about it? I find it crazy how when they do this sort of stuff, their focus is reputation management. They want to go out there and make sure that they are seen as a victim and sympathetic while they've been doing you dirty, as in the case of his ex-wife, as in the case of Amber Heard. They go out there working overtime, reputation management for themselves, while they did some real down low stuff. And in doing so, they're simultaneously trying to drag your reputation through the mud, make you seem like you're an abuser, just essentially a monster. Both these women did this, and ironically, even though it was a huge gap apart from each other, both those men managed to come out victorious. But let this be a cautionary tale for us, guys, because those men were only able to successfully fight back because they had money. I mean, think about Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, very, very connected, very wealthy, and was, you know, a red carpet celebrity, a box office draw. He is the face of the Pirates franchise. And look how hard of a time he had fighting back. A regular person like you and me would have had no chance. He had to fight back against a pretty white woman. And he only won because he had the presence of mind to keep receipts. His reputation in Hollywood was mud. There was no amount of "I didn't do this, she's lying." There was no amount that he could say that would sway people to believe him. His reputation was over. He was mud. But now he's managed to fight back. I always find it interesting, though, how when the tabloids and places like the Shade Room and all that, they go above and beyond to frame men as being so horrible, they never go back and put the same energy into restoring the man's name that they did in dragging it. They will drag and drag and drag for likes, for shares, you know, all of that BS internet clout. While they could drag the man, they do so. But when the woman is learned to be a lying sack of you know what, they're off of it. They don't revisit the story and issue corrections or retractions in any way, shape, or form. They don't go back saying how the woman was you know, a liar and should be held accountable, there's essentially no accountability for the women. You know, even in the case of Deion's ex-wife, the jail time that she served for being stupid was only 7 days. She served a week. Okay, yeah, that was a week away from her cushy lifestyle, but was that really enough for her to learn her lesson? Probably not. And I don't know if it's any dudes dealing with her now. Usually when a woman leaves a high profile man like that, you know, a very messy split of that nature, it don't really be no dudes checking for them after that, because you had a prominent guy like this that you were married to and you couldn't retain him for whatever way. You found a way to fumble that. So if that dude couldn't keep you, what hope have I? But let me know what you guys think, man. I appreciate y'all connecting with me as always. I'm gonna holler at y'all soon. Peace.